Welcome everyone to the Gulf Coast Industry Forum hosted by the Economic Alliance Houston Port Region. I'm Jeremy Osterberger with BIT Magazine, and I'm with Lon Brenner, Vice President and General Manager for the Houston Refinery for Valero. Lon, thanks for hanging out with us.
Absolutely, glad to be here.
Well, Lon, is this your first time at the forum? Have you been on stage before? No?
Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for being here as always. Well, Lon, let's dig right into it. On stage, you talked about an investment that the site made about 10 years ago. Can you give us a rewind and talk about what that investment was for the site?
Yeah, you bet. So, if you recall, about 10 years ago, that was sort of on the front end of the shale revolution. Sure. Eagle Ford, a lot of crude coming out of Eagle Ford, a lot out of West Texas. So, at that time, Valero elected to make investments not only at the Houston refinery, but at our Corpus Christi refinery in crude units. And it essentially doubled the capacity of our refinery.
So, Lon, now that the site's made that investment, you got to run and maintain it. So, what has that journey been like for maintenance and reliability after that investment?
Sure. Yes, reliability is essential. I think that's the key to our success. A lot of the reliability investments over the years starts with a lot of infrastructure investments, instrument air, boilers, steam, wastewater treatment, kind of across the board, making sure that you got the facilities, the infrastructure to keep the plant running. But it's more than just investment in capital, a lot of programs, procedures, policies, operational excellence initiatives. So it kind of goes hand in hand, and that's been very successful.
So, Lon, some other investments that the site made are in the environmental side of things. Talk about your investment in the flare gas recovery investment, the mobile air monitoring, and the GMAT investment you guys made.
Sure. So about 2006, Valero sort of saw this coming, kind of got ahead of the curve and invested in flare gas recovery systems at multiple sites, Houston being one of them. And as a result of that, we just don't flare. So outside of maybe planned maintenance activity, if you drive by one of those sites, it is highly unlikely you actually see flaring activity. All those gases that typically would have gone to the flare, we recover those in the flare gas recovery system, and then we burn that in our heaters and our boilers.
Okay, gotcha, yeah. And talk about the mobile air monitoring.
Sure, that's one of our more recent investments. So a couple of years ago, we invested in a mobile air monitoring van. So this is a van that has some very sophisticated analyzers. We use that to sample the air around the refinery, amongst our fence line neighborhood. And we'll do routine runs throughout the neighborhood. And then if we ever have any upsets in the plant, we'll deploy the van to sample and collect results from the air monitoring van. All those results, we make it very transparent. We actually share those with the community at our Civic Club meetings.
Gotcha. So, Lon, the Valero Houston refinery is a key asset in the region. It's really the only refinery within the Houston city limits. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So, how is the refinery adapting to current market dynamics and fluctuating crude prices as fuel demand is changing?
Sure. So that's the great thing about refineries. They're usually flexible. You can kind of configure them. You can modify the cut points in your distillation units to maybe make more diesel than gasoline or jet fuel. There was another major investment actually that we made to take advantage of the change in crude slate, the lighter crude slate that came with the shale revolution. Led us to make an investment that expanded our alkylation unit. So in that case, you basically take a lot of the LPG that's prevalent and you react it and you turn it into a high octane gasoline component. So that's an example of one of the investments we made that took advantage of some of the changes in the market.
So, Lon, let's switch over to workforce development. It's so critical that we attract and retain talent. What is Valero doing, and really what are you doing at your site to attract and retain the best talent?
Sure. I think that starts with recruiting and attracting the best talent. One of the blessings of being in the Houston area is it has a large pool of resources that we can draw from. So, for example, when we hire a class of new operators, it might be 15 positions we're looking to fill. We'll get over 1,500 applicants. So if you do the math on that, I always share with them after they make it through that difficult process that it was more difficult for you to land one of these jobs than it is to get into Harvard. So. Yeah. And then, beyond that, we have a great operator training program that makes sure that they're well prepared when they get out to the field for their first post. And the pay, the benefits, those are all world class.
Lon, let's get into something a little more personal. When you're not working, man, how do you spend your time?
So I've got two wonderful kids. I've been a wonderful wife. I've married my wife, and I married Valero at about the same time. So between the three of them, that's usually where I spend all of my free time. I'm happy to do it. My son just graduated. He played baseball in college. My daughter is a junior in high school, and she's into cheer and pole vaulting, and
Nice,
so
man. Where
the
did
kids' hobbies become your hobbies.
That's right. Where did he play in college?
He played at Lafayette College in Pennsylvania.
Fantastic. Well, Lon, thank you for sharing a little about yourself personally, and thank you for being on with BIC Magazine here at the Gulf Coast Industry Forum. You're welcome back anytime.
Absolutely, I enjoyed it.
Thank you for your time.